All right, well, we're going to start this thing off with Jonathan from NoFate247. Jonathan, Jake is going to ask you some questions, and you're going to give quick answers so that you can try to answer as many questions as possible in 1 minute. I'm going to have the timer ready.
And light the fires. I'm ready. Let's go.
I love it. All right. Well, he's ready. Jake, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Jake, you asked that first question, and I'm hitting start.
Favorite rep release so far this year?
Their cambered Swiss bar.
Energy drinks or pre-workouts?
Pre-workout.
Rogue or rep?
Rep.
Rep or Titan?
Titan.
Rain or Monster?
Rain.
Basement or garage gym?
Basement all day.
Best barbell budget on the market?
Rep Saber bar, their blacked out version. If you're not that strong, if you're deadlifting over 4 plates, not what your bar you want.
Worst home gym purchase of all time?
Titan Fitness jump rope.
Best home gym purchase of all time?
Rep Fitness PR 4000 for my basement.
Your favorite weight vest?
It is Wolf Tactical. They've got a brand new one out that's streamlined, and it is just all business.
Favorite YouTube channel outside of your own?
Probably Basement Brandon. I've been watching him since he was reviewing supplements, believe it or not.
Yay or nay to power blocks?
Yay.
Best dumbbells for home gym?
I got so into it, guys. Time's up.
Repeat the question. Go for
it. Best dumbbells for home gyms?
Rep Fitness urethane, or any urethane ones across the market.
12.
12.
Not counting that last one.
I went off. I went a little too long on a couple of the answers, but
it's just the Saber bar. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't have to explain the supplements with the Basement Brandon answer, but whatever.
Could have got 14.
Could have got 14.
It was there. It was there.
I actually only had 13 on the list, so I would have had.
Good thing he went slow.
I was like, as he was going down, I was like thinking of new ones, and I could have gotten a couple, but they would have been very basic. I was about to go rep or Bells of Steel. Or
yeah. Cool. Let's jump into that Q&A. This is Jonathan from NoFate247. Jonathan, if you don't mind just giving us a quick 30 to 60 second intro of who you are.
All right. So I am the No Fate channel. I am a dad of 2 crazy kids. And the purpose of my channel is really to just be a great parent to my kids and still accomplish my own personal goals. I had a child. I realized that most of my time was going into my child and I was losing sight of my own goals. So the channel really evolves around me and the stuff that I enjoy: lifting, supplements, fitness, gadgets, stuff to save me time, and of course dad life as a parent of 2. And I just crank out videos, usually 3 a week to 4 a week, and I try to kind of have a bit of a variety in there. And sometimes I just make series of videos to motivate me, whether it's like training series for a Spartan race, or it is a Disney vacation to help future people going to Disney, future parents trying to help them survive. And it's just a labor of love. And we've constantly been trying to improve the content. If you want to see some pretty ugly videos, go to my original videos that were out there, and they are brutal, but I leave them up just to see how far I've come.
Awesome. So NoFate247, can you give us the story behind that username?
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is "There's no fate but what you make," which is from Terminator 2, Sarah Connor, if you guys are as old as I am and saw that in the theaters. But it's one of those things that I've lived by for so long that, you don't expect it to come to you. Don't wait for it to come to you. Just go out and get it. And before I even had the channel, it was part of my wedding vows, and it's on the inside of my ring. That I normally don't wear, but I have one, and it's on the inside of my ring. And it's just what the channel is all about, and just about don't wait for it, go get it, because time is so precious, time is limited. And that's part of the reason that so many of us have home gyms, is to save time.
Yeah. Speaking of home gyms, when did you start yours?
So I started my home gym 8 years ago when my son was born, and it was really just a few pieces of equipment. Reason being is I was trying to get to the local gym, which isn't that far from my home, but it was just snowstorms, kid was sick, you needed to watch the kid, you couldn't just leave him by himself, and stuff like that. And then at every Christmas, every birthday that I had, I picked up an extra piece. And then obviously, like everyone else, 2020 hit, and I was just like, okay, this is I gotta flip the switch. Thankfully I had enough equipment that I could do almost full workouts in my home. But 2020 hit, I flipped the switch, and it was just saving so much time because prior to 2020, I was working out at the local gym as soon as they opened. So I would get there before they even turned the key. And there were days where they opened late and I missed my window because I was on such a tough clock. But now that I've got the home gym, man, I'm not looking back.
What time was the opening?
So funny thing. So the gym down the street for me opened at 5 a.m., which for me was late. And on the weekends, they opened at 7, which was like so late for a dad. I ended up joining a second gym because they opened an hour earlier, even though they were further away. So I was able to save an hour on the weekends. But yeah, I work out. My workouts usually start around 4 a.m.
Got it. So we are recording late.
Yeah, it's well past my bedtime.
What time do you typically go to bed?
Usually try to be out by 9 a.m. I can fall asleep in 5 minutes, whether I'm taking a sleep aid supplement or I'm just exhausted. I'm 5 minutes and I'm lights out.
Does that annoy your wife as much as it annoys my wife when I hit the pillow, I'm out?
She freaks out because she's like, because she's got like mom mode. So she's always in tune with what the kids are doing. She is so hard for her to fall asleep. And I can wake up in the middle of the night, deal with the kids, and I'm out again in like no time. So yeah, she hates it.
Same. Yeah.
You guys are the opposite of me. I'm the one that lays there and can't fall asleep.
Really?
Yeah.
So your channel covers a lot of things. When did you start covering like home gym content?
So I started covering home gym content before 2020. I started covering it back in 2019. And it was just one of those things where it was something I was interested in. So I would cover everything from like how to get your gym gear to smell better because, it just gets funky, to what was in my gym bag when I was actually going to a local gym. And it just progressed. And I started doing like just reviews of the stuff that I had in my home gym, power blocks being one of them. And that video kind of was one of the ones that took off, and people just had a ton of questions. And as I got more equipment in, I was like, well, might as well make a review out of it. And it's kind of progressed where I'm a lot more heavier with home gym equipment reviews today than I was when I started. But it's just, I've been lifting in my home gym a lot more now than when I started.
You mentioned that you started taking it even more seriously when COVID hit. I'm guessing you added quite a bit over the last few years, especially since you're reviewing equipment. What does your home gym look like today?
So my home gym is in my basement, and unlike basement Brandon, I don't live in a mansion, although I wish I did. I've got 4 sections to my home gym, so it is quite spacious. I've got the main section, which has dumbbells, PR4000, and some slam balls, medicine balls, and then everything is covered with horse stall mats. I've got a functional trainer from Titan that I got before they jacked up the prices, but thankfully I got it after 2020, but I got it before they jacked up the prices. And then I've got a cardio section with free treadmill, an elliptical that I got used, and I got an Echo bike because I wanted to torture myself. And my wife wanted a spin bike, which I tend to use more than her, but I got the spin bike as well. And then I've got the laundry, which is a great distraction when I'm down there. So those are the 4 main sections of the home gym.
Nice. What would you say like your training style is? Like, how do you like to train?
So it's varied over the years. From obviously as you get older, it's going to change. Right now, I've been doing for a long time push-pull legs split. So it's 3 days on, 1 day off, and then I'll do heavy 3 days, and then the next 3 days are more higher reps, lighter weight, relatively speaking. And I find it works for me in terms of recovery, in terms of time, and just in terms of just enjoying a good variety of different exercises by going that route.
We did touch on this in the 1 minute AMRAP, but can you elaborate on, you said best purchase and worst purchases?
Okay, so best purchase is obviously my power rack, and I got the PR4000, and before this I was lifting on those cheap Amazon squat stands that are like $50, but I wasn't even squatting in them because it was so cheap. I didn't trust them. I was just benching and doing like shrugs off of it. And I finally decided I need something a bit more safer in case like I actually failed on a set. And I got the power rack, and I was on the fence between Rogue, Titan, and Rep. And I'm so glad I went with Rep, basically because this is Monday morning quarterbacking, but they put out so much stuff since then that ideally fits their rack that it's made sense. I've actually just upgraded it to a 6-post rack from a 4-post rack because I've got some stuff on pre-order that's going to be coming in, and I need those extra 2 posts. It's one of those things I just wish I did it sooner. Like many people, when you make that purchase price, when you finally, hit the buy it now button.
I say you teased it. What's coming in?
I got the Athena that they just issued. I got them on both sides. I got to see if it worked. I've got my reservations, but I think I got I'm excited to get it in.
Did you go plate loaded or stacks?
I got stacks, and I asked for the extra weight on there as well,
Nice.
because I'm like, if you're gonna go stacks, you got to go max
Yeah.
stacks,
Yeah.
even
Good
if
for
you can't lift it, just to say you have it.
Yeah, I like that. All right, I'll let you go. Worst purchase.
So worst purchase is the Titan jump rope. You get pulled in because it looks nice and it's cheap, and it's horrible. It is like just one of those things that shouldn't be as bad as it is, but it is. Yeah. And it kills me, because if I'd gone with like the Wad Nation jump rope for 20 bucks, I would have been so much happier, but it just doesn't look as shiny. And the other worst purchase that I made, that I was most regrettable purchase, was the brand new Titan Fitness safety squat bar, American made. I got so jonesed on this thing when they released it, because I was like, American made, this is what I want to see. And the handles look honeycomb and great. And then I got it in, and I was like, man, oh man, you shouldn't have put the American made stamp on this. You should have done something better than your existing version from overseas. It was really frustrating, because the handles were a standout, and the pads, the same pad as before. So it was really good pad. And then everything else was just like, man, what were you thinking? I don't know.
Do you have the Rep SSB to compare it to?
Yeah, I got the Rep SSB in the week after. I got them both like back to back, and it was like this big cloud, because as soon as the Rep SSB came in, I was like, it made me realize how bad the Titan was. Keeping, because the previous one I had was like a junk one that I got the job done, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but it was a junk one with like the individual pads for the shoulders and then one for the neck. And yeah, the Rep SSB is, I got my review of like my 2-month to 3-month review of that's coming up, and it's just it's a keeper.
Yeah, I just got in. It's so nice.
The handles, that you could tell they were like, we want to do something different, something that's going to stand out. It's something that you're going to want to keep in your home gym, and it's held up. I mean, I've used it. I use it 2 to 3 times a week for front squats, for rear squats, and I'll tell you, it holds up. It doesn't like get chipped and stuff. And my only complaint is like it's long and it's heavy, but that's like most SSBs. So,
Right. Well, I'm curious, back to like you starting to create content. Looked on your YouTube channel, and it said it was first created in 2012.
yeah. So I think back when YouTube started, when you signed up, it kind of created your channel. Like when you signed up and make an account. So I think that's when I first found YouTube, was 2012. So that's where I think that has my original like year. But
Okay.
yeah, I created content, going back 4 years. You can see where it started, and it's not pretty.
Well, I was going to say, what were the 4 years? Still a long time. What were those first videos like?
They were so much work, and it was so many outtakes of just being like, you put the camera in front of you, and then your mind just goes blank, or you just stutter like constantly. And then I didn't know how to edit, so I was learning to edit, which is part of the reason I started the channel, was because I wanted to teach myself to edit. And if you don't have any skin in the game, you're never going to learn something like on your own. So I found the wrong editing program. It wasn't as good as the one that I use now, which is DaVinci Resolve. And it took me forever to figure out. Everything was ugly. I'd made every mistake you could. Like most of my videos initially had the volume was messed up. So you only got one channel in one ear. So if you were listening on microphones, you'd be like, what's going on? But yeah, so live and learn.
So in some of these videos you do today, you do pre-workout reviews, which I really appreciate, because I love a good pre-workout. So, I mean, tell us about that. Like, have you just like always been into like the pre-workouts? And then like, what are some of the best and some of the worst?
I've always been into like supplements in general, because obviously for anyone who's trying to work out, you're trying to like, okay, what can I do to improve that training? So obviously when you working out as early as I am, you get into pre-workouts. But I used to work at like a vitamin shop back in the day, decades ago, and it's just, they're fun, man. Pre-workouts are fun, especially they get you going, especially if you're working out so early in the morning, or even for many people right after work, or you put the kids to bed, you're trying to like get a workout in, you need those pre-workouts. So as far as some of the best, one of the things I tell people on my channel is, don't trust the hype, don't go after the name. You want to figure out what your goals are, and then work backwards to your pre-workout, because if you're an athlete, you should be doing something like Endure Elite, which basically makes pre-workouts for athletes. And some of the good ones are Alpha Line. You want to make sure that there's clear label transparency, that they're made in at least a GMP facility and not in someone's bathtub. And a couple of good ones are Alpha Lion. NutriBio is one of my favorites, just because they make their own stuff, and they're like beyond label transparent. They have third-party testing, and it could go on. And also Endure Elite, if you're an athlete, if you're like a college athlete, or if you're doing like long endurance races or long obstacle course races, those are good ones as well. Now, some of the bad ones, there's a ton of them out there, and they get you because they pull you in with the name, they pull you in with the hype, and then they lie to you with like, oh, it's a blend. It's like, oh, it's so secret, we couldn't tell you what's in it. So clearly they lie to you. And then sometimes what I try to tell people to avoid, and it's hard because I review them and I do tend to like them, is the high stim stuff, the really crazy, over the top, Sylvester Stallone style stuff that will just like melt your face. That stuff tends not to lead to good workouts. And I know people see it, and I know some people get really good workouts off of it, but that's usually the exception to the rule. Don't let your ego write a check your ass can't cash, because you end up getting these heart palpitations. You can't go as hard in the gym. You can't go as fast in the gym. And the next thing you know, like, you're just bonked off your mind, sitting in the corner, sweating, and you haven't even warmed up yet because of all the ingredients that are in there.
And they end up pulling them for illegal supplements, like 2 years later.
It's funny. And you're like, oh, why is this one banned? Or, you know,
can you given a like, you don't have to give a specific example, but what would be an example, or what would be a specific way, or what kind of athlete would people bring in to like help hype up a pre-workout and then it's not actually a good one? Like I see like the Nelk boys pumping up.
Oh yeah. So you gotta finish your question.
That's like, that was my question. Like, for example, I see the Nelk boys pumping them their product.
Yeah, so the Nelk boys, I love the Nelk boys, but they have done their main fan base wrong. This is their second release of supplements, and one of their big fans is Bradley Martin, which is another social media influencer. And what they do is they've got this fan base that's young, impressionable, doesn't know what's out there, and they just release junk, and they have a massively high price. I did a review of the Nelk boys current products, and if you look at just the label now, without even getting your hands on it, the label is underdosed. It's like overpriced, underdosed, and there's stuff in there that's like no need for it, and they clearly leave out a lot of ingredients that you would obviously want. And my argument with them is they're such a big entity, they've got so much money, they could have made a great pre-workout, sold it at the same price, and just absolutely smash the market. But then they got to tell their fans that this is the best stuff on earth. It's got electrolytes in it and stuff like that, and it's just junk compared to what's on the market. You can get better stuff at half the price. And I just don't like companies that do that, like Nelk boys. I don't like them lying to their subscriber base. I'd rather them be honest and just say, hey, we slapped our name on this to get a quick buck, buy it from us. You know, at least with their Happy Dad beer, it seems like they had a big hand in making that, and people do seem to like, not beer, it's like seltzer, hard seltzer. At least with that, people do seem to enjoy that as far as a refreshing drink.
I have no idea who we're talking about. The Nelk boys?
Yeah, they're pretty big on YouTube. They've got like, I don't know, like 40 million subscribers.
They're huge. They are like, they started off by just doing pranks, right?
Yeah, and they started off as doing pranks out of Canada. And they're big in the US, they're big in Canada, and they've expanded like on to podcasting. They interviewed Trump. That was like one of the biggest YouTube videos until YouTube took it down. Yep. They've got hard seltzer. They've got their clothing line, which constantly sells out during their like monthly drops. And they've got a whole bunch of different people that come into their videos and then have their own videos on the side that are part of Nelk.
So the Canadian Pauls, is that what we're...
They're in like the same world as Pauls. Right. Yeah,
I hear you. Okay. Well, I'm kind of nervous to ask about this next one. Like, well, how do you feel about like energy drinks? Because I love them. So go ahead.
I wish I could say I don't drink them, but I get them by the case, and I love them too much. In fact, I love them so much. I literally was like, okay, the first step in rehab is admitting you have a problem. And the truth is, we all know energy drinks largely are expensive flavored caffeine, but they're great, man. The caffeine and the carbonation and the flavors are amazing. Very few energy drinks actually list what's in there besides the caffeine content. I think there's a couple, like Ghost is one that actually lists the ingredients that they put in there, so you know that you're getting a bit more than caffeine. But most of them, like Rain and Bang, you know, you're getting caffeine. Like they put on the side of the can, they'll put super creatine, like that's a thing. And then the amount of creatine in there is probably like, you know, a microgram or a picogram or something, you know, something so small you can't even register it. I love energy drinks, but you know, the reality is I should be drinking less of them.
What are your favorites?
Rain Orange Dreamsicle. Oh, it just brings me right back.
Sky, man. I just found a buddy. Here we go.
Yeah, we're the three amigos. I mean, it's weird. Adam, Jake, Jonathan, they called me up and they were like, hey, we went through all the other home gym reviewers and now we're at the bottom of the barrel. Do you want to jump onto our podcast? And I was like, hell yeah, sign me up. So
that's not how it went. He finally paid how much it cost to get it on the podcast, and
Yeah,
he
finally.
accepted.
that's part of the marketing expenses for the
That's
NoFate 247 channel.
Yeah. All right. So would you say Rain is your favorite brand too?
Probably. They do it right. They high caffeine count, good flavors, and the prices are reasonable. If you guys are looking for a deal, Amazon.com, the subscribe and save. It's ridiculous and it's
Okay.
addictive because it just shows up. It just
Don't
shows
tell
up.
Adam.
Yeah.
I can't know this, man.
Adam, a case of Orange Dreamsicle, $16.13 for 12. Look at that.
It's a
How do
winner.
you say no to that? It's like cheaper than Coke.
I've been stuck on white gummy bear these days.
Oh, I'm gonna have to sign up.
Good
Sign
one.
me up.
It's a good one. Dreamsicle, I wrote it till it was dead. It started tasting different. So you know
Okay.
you had too many. So I was like, I gotta switch this up.
The cherry limeade is really good.
Okay. All right. Orange dream or you try white gummy bear. I got cherry lemonade.
Deal.
All right. What about your favorite budget options for a home gym?
Okay, so when it comes to budget options, I think the biggest bang for the buck is functional fitness gear because it lasts forever. You can do tons of different exercises. If you're looking for a slam ball, I think those are great. You can go with Titan Fitness or Yes for All on Amazon. Sandbag, another thing, you can go Rep Fitness or Synergy version 2 sandbag is amazing. As far as bars, I mean, Titan Fitness multi-grip cambered bar is just one of those ones that just can't be beat for the price if you're on a budget. The Rep Saber bar I mentioned earlier, if you are looking for a gorgeous bar, the blacked out version is amazing. They have a Gladiator bar that I haven't gotten my hands on. It's more for like the big three if you're into deadlifting and stuff. That comes on sale at like 100, like super low prices. It's funny, every time we think that the prices of home gym stuff is going up, you see some of these crazy sales. Synergy Fitness right now on Amazon has a hex bar for $113, hard chrome. And that's amazing for a home gym that has so many different functional exercises you can do with it, as well as just mass builders like deadlifts and stuff. I like the Angles 90 handles. There's not them, they're expensive, but they've got like a knockoff versions on Amazon that get the job done that are fun to use if you have a cabling system.
Are those like the
The
yep.
ergonomic ones. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think all that makes sense. Just one more question. Who is John Galt?
John Galt is obviously one of the biggest icons from that book,
Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged. One of my favorite books. It's also one of the longest books ever. I mean, it goes on forever. But if you haven't read Atlas Shrugged, you really should. It's a phenomenal book. And once you hear that, you'll grab a sign that says, "Who is John Galt?"
Oh no, I'm a big fan of Atlas Shrugged, and I just saw it on your board, and I figured I'd bring that up.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it really hits home, and it's part of like that whole no fate thing. You got to add value, right? You got to go out and get it. You can't just expect people to be handing you money.
Yeah. John, you'll give them your plugs. Where can people find you?
You can't. Where can you not find me? NoFate247.com. NoFate247 everything. And that is just hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button. You're not going to be disappointed. The content is quality, at least I'm a little bit biased, but I think so. And we try to change it up. So for those of you who might be starting to get sick of home gym talk, how could you? But just in case, we do cover a lot of other topics as well.
Awesome, guys. Go check them out. That's going to do it for us tonight. Did you like tonight's episode? Well, then be sure to keep your eye out for new episode releases wherever you listen to podcasts. Stay involved on our social media sites by following Garage Gym Experiment and taking part in our Sunday surveys on Instagram so that you can be part of these conversations. Like, follow, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and get involved in our website for all your home gym content needs. Jake, do you have anything else left for the listeners?
Nope.
He said nope. One day he's going to have something. All right, guys. See ya.